hearing for October 5th is now in session. This hearing is being conducted in accordance with the applicable provisions of the open meeting law, including the provisions of an act extending certain COVID measures adopted during the state of emergency that was signed by Governor Baker on June 16, 2021. The new law allows the board to continue its practice of holding virtual hearings that it adopted during the COVID pandemic until April 1st, 2022. The virtual hearing is being live streamed and recorded via WebEx. In order to ensure this hearing of the board is open to the public, members of the public may access this hearing through telephone and video conferencing. The information for connecting to this hearing is listed on today's hearing agenda, which is posted on the public notices page of the city's website, boston.gov. Members of the public will enter the virtual hearing as attendees, which means you will not see yourself on the screen and you will be muted throughout unless administratively unmuted when asked to comment. As with our in-person meetings, comments in support will be followed by comments in opposition. The order of comments is as followed: elected officials, representative of elected officials, and members of the public. The number of people called upon to offer comment and the time for commenting will be limited by the chair as time constraints require. For that reason, the board prefers to hear from members of the public closest to the impacted project. If you wish to comment on an appeal, please click the raise your hand icon in the application via the WebEx event platform. To raise your hand, click the participant information icon. From there, find your name, and on the lower right-hand side, you should see a hand raising icon. Click the icon and your hand will be virtually raised. Click it again and your hand should go down. If you are connected to this hearing by telephone, please press *3 to raise your hand. Again, those who are connected by telephone, please press *3. Those called upon to comment will be asked to state their name and address first, and then can provide their comment. In the interest of time and to ensure that you have enough time to do so, please raise your hand as soon as Mr. Fortune reads the address into the record. Do not raise your hand before the relevant address is called, or the meeting host will not know to call on you at the appropriate time. Please also take your hand down once you've commented, so we know that we've reached everybody who has something to say on a particular project. Let me take a roll call of members. Mr. Fortune.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Oh, Madam. Mr. Ehrlich.
I'm here.
Okay, Ms. Dong.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning, Mr. Robinson.
Good morning, welcome back.
Thank you, Ms. Patton.
Good morning, I'm here.
Welcome. I don't think we've met in person, but welcome to the hearing today. Have you sat before?
I observed a couple of weeks ago, but this is my first time.
This is it. Okay. Mr. Ruggiero, is he on?
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning. Okay, I see that there are a lot of extensions that are being requested. I'd like to make sure that applicants all know that at this moment in time, we're looking, since COVID is pretty far along in its process, to decrease the number of extensions. I also know that this is the time when there is going to start being an increase in the number of deferrals. I highly encourage community groups to continue with your meetings and to come to us with recommendations, because you do stand the risk of us going ahead and making a decision without your input. That said, I turn the meeting over to Mr. Fortune.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first extension calling BOA 963 500 Talbot Avenue. Madam Chair, this is due to expire on October 11th of 2021. If we do grant it today, it'll be their first extension. Name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney John Fulgini, 10 Forbes Road in Braintree, on behalf of the applicant James Baker on this proposal, on this extension request. I apologize. So
Okay.
submitted, there just had been a delay due to COVID, so my client informs me that all the plans are with ISD and they're just waiting for the permit to be issued.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Motion to extend for 1 year.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and it's going to be effective from today's date of the expiration of the permit. Sorry. I also would request all members of the board that if you are making the motion, or if you are seconding, or if you are recusing, or you're in opposition, please put your name on the record. Also, I do need to hear you in support or in opposition to a project, okay?
Madam Chair, this is Eric Robinson. Sorry, my mic was muted. I needed to recuse myself from that vote on
Okay.
500 now.
Okay, due to technical difficulties, Mr. Robinson needs to recuse. So for the record should read that there are 6 members in support of the extension.
Thank you.
Calling the next two cases, calling BOA 754-388-63 to 69 Bremer Street. There's a companion case, BOA 754-380-55 to 57 Bremer Street. Madam Chair, this will expire on October 11th of 2021. It is in litigation, but name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney John Fulgini, 10 Forbes Road in Braintree. As Mr. Fortune stated, this is in litigation. Only one of these companion cases was actually involved in litigation. When the Park Street schools, my client went to apply for 5557, ISD is informing them that at this point, until the litigation is resolved, they're not going to review the construction documents. So and we're hoping that the litigation is resolved within the next coming months.
So which one is in litigation?
6369, Madam Chair, is in litigation.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Motion to extend for a year from termination.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, everybody.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 944-276-98 Prescott Street. Madam Chair, this will expire on November 22nd. If we do grant it, it would be their first extension. Name and address for the record, please. Is Prescott Street on?
I think it might be Celeste. Let me she's sending me a message in the chat. Give me 1 second. Okay. Celeste, are you here to give for this project?
Yes, I am. Thank you. I didn't have the ability to unmute myself. I'll raise my hand. Celeste Ribeiro Hewitt, representing LAR Properties. Our address is 282 Bennington Street in East Boston.
And may I have a motion, please?
Motion for a 1-year extension.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 894-508-400 to 408 West Broadway. Madam Chair, this is also in litigation for what I'm seeing, and it did expire. Bear with me here. October 15th, 2021. Name and address for the record, please. If we do grant it, it'd be their first extension.
Okay,
Morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is Mike Ross, Attorney Mike Ross, one of the International Placements of Law. The secretary was correct. There are actually 2 tolling features to this application. One was the litigation, which has since been settled, dismissed, and the second was COVID. And when you add those together, you have a pretty substantial tolling period. This is the first extension, but worth noting, the applicant has actually begun demolition within the period of the permit, so.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Ross. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to extend for a year.
Second, Joe.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Calling next case, calling BOA 934-019, 154 to 156 Bayswater Street. Madam Chair, this is due to expire on November 1st of 2021. If we do grant it, it'll be their first extension. Name and address for the record, please.
154, 156 Bayswater Street. My name is Frank Delmuto. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. I'm here on behalf of Daniel Smith, the owner. We would ask for an extension of the variance that was granted in 2019.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Motion for a 1-year extension.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You have that extension.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 965-725, 42 to 44 Russell Street. Madam Chair, this is due to expire on November 1st of 2021. This would be their first extension if we grant it today. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Timothy Burke with a business address of 142 Berkeley Street in Boston. I'm representing the owners of the property in this request for a 1-year extension due to some delays caused by the pandemic.
May I have a motion, please?
Motion for a 1-year extension. Sherry?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Calling the last case for extension, calling BOA 954-504, 30 Orleans Street. Madam Chair, this is due to expire on 11/15/2021. If we do grant it, it'll be their first extension. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Ricardo Robiglio, address 30 Orleans Street in East Boston. This is the first time seeking for an extension prior to expiration next month, and the reason is due to the impacts of the coronavirus pandemic.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
Motion for a 1-year extension.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Calling the next case for board final arbiter, case BOA 111-4533, 1A Cottage Street. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is David Freed of 23 Salcombe Street, Dorchester, Mass.
And so why are you here, Mr. Freed? What is the reason that you're here for board final arbiter? I'm hoping it's de minimis.
It's very minor. When we filed our application, the owner and the surveyor both listed the address of the property as 1 Cottage Street, and ISD listed the address as 1A Cottage Street, and the decision was granted to 1A Cottage, but now ISD wants to change it back to 1 Cottage, so we're here to request that change.
So your request is to change the address from 1A Cottage to 1 Cottage?
Yes, correct.
May I have a motion to
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Calling the next case for G-Card only. This is case BOA 124-6108, 642 to 648 Beacon Street. This is a change of occupancy to include research, development, renovation, core and shell of 42,000 square feet of laboratory research with 4,000 square feet first floor retail. The violation is Article 32, Section 32-4. This is in the G-Card. Name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Alex Provost with Related Beal. I am here as a matter of the GCOD Groundwater Conservation Overlay District in Kenmore Square, and our project is 642 to 648 Beacon Street.
Thank you. Can you please hold Ms. Christian on?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Welcome back, members of the board. Christian Simonelli, Boston Groundwater Trust, and we have both the BWSC approval and no harm letters from the applicant.
May I have a motion,
Madam
please?
Chair, we also have those letters.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you.
I'm going to call the 930 cases for any deferrals or withdrawals, but deferrals and withdrawals only of 930 cases. Address first, please. I know we have 3 deferrals on the docket, so if you could please give me the address so I can call it in for the record. Is Maverick Street on? Stillman Street on or Webster Street on?
I do not have anyone raising their hand or sending me a message in the chat specifically about those cases.
Okay, let's go ahead, Mr. Fortune.
Okay, we'll call the first case, calling BOA 117-2592, 68 Horace Street. This is renovate the existing attic bathroom, frame new bedroom, and closet. The violation, Article 53, Section 9. The floor to area ratio is excessive. Article 53, Section 9, the side yard's insufficient. And Article 53, Section 9, the rear yard is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Whitney Zealy. Address is 68 4th Street. I am the property owner.
So can you tell us, is this a one-family or a two-family?
So this is a 2-family.
Okay, and I know Mr. Fortune read this into the record, but do tell us what the proposal is.
So the proposal is to renovate an existing attic bathroom. When we purchased the home, there was a half bath already in the attic. So we're proposing to renovate that existing bathroom and convert it to a full bathroom and finish out the attic space to make it a master bedroom.
Okay. How are the plans, Mr. Robinson?
The plans are fine. They do depict that scope, but it also appears they are adding a basement unit to the project. There's new bedrooms in the basement with egress windows and some other scope work. Is that not correct?
So we had plans drawn for future projects, but we are not pursuing that piece of the project at this time. We're just looking to finish the attic space.
Okay.
That's smart because this board is just not welcoming to basement apartments or basement dwellings.
Okay.
Okay, so so for the bath and for the conversion of the half to a full and the bedrooms, everything is fine. Okay.
Everything's fine with that scope. The drawings do reflect the full scope, however, but I think we should just clarify that. Thank you.
Yes. And any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Community process was conducted by one of our liaisons where the applicant received strong support from abutters as well as support from the Harborview Neighborhood Association. We believe that this demonstrates the neighborhood will not be negatively impacted. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Michael Benetti from the Office of Boston City Councilor Lydia Edwards. Council would like to go on record in support of this project.
Madam Chair, Secretary, we have a couple of letters of support.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion for approval with a proviso that no work be done in the basement.
I'll second that, Eric.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Good luck.
Madam Chair, we also had a couple people jump back on for deferrals. I don't know if you want to wait till the end or.
No, let's.
Well, yeah, I'm going to call the next case and hopefully that's one of them.
Okay.
Calling BOA 115-9048, 377 Maverick Street. Is Maverick Street on?
Yes, Mr. Secretary, I apologize. I was having some technical difficulties.
Quite all right. Name and address for the record, please. You're deferring also, correct?
Yes, yeah. Madam Chair, good morning. Welcome back. Members of the board, Richard Lynch, 245 Sumner Street on behalf of the petitioner. Madam Chair, this is also going to require GCOD. It was not in the original notice or original refusal. So we've requested a renotice with the GCOD identified, and we're requesting a deferral to allow for that renotice.
May I have a motion, please?
Motion to defer, Secretary.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The date, please.
Mr. Lins, we have two dates, the 7th of December or the 14th, whichever is more capable for them to get regards to GCOD.
I think 7th should be sufficient, Mr. Secretary. Thank you.
December 7th at 12:30.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 106-5886, 57 Webster Street. Is Webster Street on?
Same, Mr. Secretary, for the record, Richard Lins, 245 Sumner Street, East Boston, on behalf of the petitioner. This is going through a plan review with ISD, so we do need a deferral to make sure the most up-to-date plans are before the board.
Make a motion for deferral, Secretary.
Is there a second?
Second, Joe.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The date, please.
You'll also have the date of December 7th at 12:30.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Lins, do you have Snowman Street? Is that you? No.
That is not me.
Okay, very good. I'll call the next case, calling actually the next four cases. Calling BOA 124-0760-46 Everett Street. There are companion cases. BOA 124-0917 46 Everett Street. BOA 124-0765 48 Everett Street. And BOA 124-0920 48 Everett Street. This is for 46 Everett. This is direct additions and change order from a 3 to a 5-unit residential dwelling with roof and rear decks. The violations, Article 27G, this is in the East Boston iPod. Article 53, Section 8, a multifamily use is forbidden. Article 53, Section 52, roof structure restrictions, the roof deck. Article 53, Section 56, off-street parking is insufficient. Article 53, Section 9, the additional lot area is insufficient. Article 53, Section 9, the floor area ratio is excessive. Article 53, Section 9, the building height is excessive in stories. Article 53, Section 9, the building height is excessive in feet. Article 53, Section 9, the usable open space is insufficient. Article 53, Section 9, the front yard is insufficient. And Article 53, Section 9, the side yard is insufficient. And this is for building code for 46 Everett Street. This is direct additions and change order from a 3 to a 5. 9th edition, 780 CMR, stairways, 1011.12.2, roof access through a penthouse. This will be for 48 Everett Street. This is direct additions and change order from a 3 to a 5-unit residential dwelling with roof and rear decks. Madam Chair, the violations are the same as 46, and the building code, which is for 48 Everett Street, is the same as 46. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Richard Lins, 245 Sumner Street, East Boston, on behalf of the petitioner, Konstantin Novakivsky, who is with us. I believe our architect with Joy Street Design is on as well. Madam Chair, what is the pleasure of the board? Do we want to deal with the building code first, or how do we want to proceed?
Yes, let's go directly to the building code.
Sure, and this is actually good timing. I know Member Ruggiero had asked us to consider doing these, and this is one of the first cases in which we've eliminated the penthouse access for the roof deck, and we're requesting the building code relief contemporaneous with the zoning appeal. So this project does involve the creation of private roof decks for the upper level. This will be a 4-story building upon completion, and therefore the requirements under the building code do not permit a hatch access. So we are requesting relief. Should the board grant the relief for the project, we would be requesting relief under the building code to dispense with the requirement to have a penthouse accessing the upper roof deck.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes. No issues with the proposal on the building code relief.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so let's get to the meat of the matter here.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So with respect to the property that's owned by Mr. Novakivsky, this is probably a good place to start with what we have on the screen. These are two semi-attached 3-family dwellings located in the Jeffreys Point section of East Boston. Our proposal would involve a complete rehabilitation of both sides of the building, which contain a total of 6 units currently. We would change the occupancy from 3 to 5 for each individual building, We are proposing a rear as well as vertical addition and a reprogramming of the entire building. This building would remain a rental building, and what we are proposing is the units that would range in size from about 1 up to 3 bedrooms, with the size going from about 640 square feet up to about 1,100 square feet total. We do include lower level living, and I will point out, based upon the elevations that we have, consistent with the board's practice and policy, the portion of the lower level that is proposed to be occupied is at ground level. So it would be a garden level, and we can probably jump to the elevations to walk through that. We do propose storage space as well as mechanical space towards the front of the building, which is more below grade. But as you can see from the side elevation, if we jump ahead to probably 2 more pages, maybe 1 more page after this, we do have a full level walkout in the rear. We are proposing a ceiling height of just under 8 feet, so 7.75 feet is the total height from grade. If we can go 1 more slide further, we probably can see it from a profile view with the side elevation as well. Here we go. So we do have sufficient space to have the area that's being proposed as living space to be completely above grade, which I know, again, is an important consideration of the board when making these proposals. With respect to the upper level units, the main level, level 1 and level 2 are flat style units. And then we have on levels 3 and 4 a bi-level unit. So entry would be at the 3rd level with internal access up to the 4th level for additional living area. This is located in the 3F 2000 district. This section of Everett Street has seen a lot of attention recently with new development and redevelopment. And we are proposing something that we feel is consistent with the surrounding heights in the area, as well as the density that we do currently see in that section of Everett Street. With respect to the relief that would be necessary, first and foremost, because we are proposing this as a multifamily dwelling, Article 53 requires relief because 3 families is the maximum number of units that can be allowed on 1 lot. So we are requesting relief for that. With respect to the minimum lot size and minimum lot frontage and width, we do comply with Article 53. However, with respect to the additional lot area for each proposed dwelling unit, we also require relief. Our FAR will be increased to 2.08 for each building. The maximum allowed is 1.0. I would submit that the current conditions are already non-conforming over the 1.0 that's allowed. So we would be increasing that non-conformity. With respect to the overall height of the building, as measured from Everett Street, it would be 41.75 feet. That is slightly above the height limit that is permitted in the district, which is 35 feet. We also do require relief for the off-street parking requirements. There are already 3 existing units in each building. We would be proposed to increase those to 5, so for each building, the additional units that are being proposed would require relief from the parking requirement. This is within close walking distance to Maverick Square, Maverick T Station, so I do believe parking impacts can be somewhat minimized by the access to public transportation. We did have a very involved community process. I believe the Jefferson Point Neighborhood Association has indicated their support.
So the roof decks would only be accessed by the top unit, right?
That is correct, and we do show in our landscape plan, if we want to, I believe if we jump back a few slides, we do create a pretty generous outdoor space at the ground level, which would be available to both buildings. We are proposing that to be a combined courtyard to the rear, so each building would have the ability to access the entire rear yard. We do also propose decks off of each of the levels, as you can see from the rear elevation.
And you did not consider combining the lots?
So we did actually look at that, Madam Chair, and that would result in the buildings, I believe there may be some additional code issues. This would be a 10-unit building versus 2 separate 5-unit buildings. From a title standpoint also, these are already separate in the title, so we would maintain those as separate buildings. They are owned by the same individual, but from a title standpoint, these do have separate titles.
Okay. Mr. Robinson, how are the plans?
The plans are consistent with what's being proposed. The lower level units are a full walkout, so I don't have any issue with that in terms of the scope. And the roof deck is a little bit taller, I think, than the majority of the street. However, it is pushed back from the frontage. So no further questions on the plans.
Thank you. Mr. Lentz, are you proposing an overhang over the sidewalk?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I apologize, Madam Chair.
Are the upper levels overhanging the sidewalk? Because from the first view, it looked like the sidewalk was relatively narrow.
Sure. I believe on the upper levels, Madam Chair, we do propose bays going over the sidewalk consistent with ISD's de minimis policy. That would be an issue that the BPDA would have to review as well. I believe we get up to 24 inches to be able to go out over the sidewalk, provided we're at least 8 feet above the sidewalk, which I believe we comply with both. So there's likely no requirement from PIC for any vertical discontinuance for that area. And again, that has to be consistent with the PIC and ISD's de minimis overhang policy.
Okay, any questions from the board?
Yeah, is there any affordability component to this?
There is not. And again, there's existing 6 units already, Mr. Ruggiero, and I believe the IDP requirements do kick in when you're proposing 10 or more units. So we're only adding 4 to an existing 6, even though the ultimate number of units will be 10. This would be well below the IDP threshold.
Separate projects, Mr. Ruggiero.
No, I know.
I'm not sure if it's relevant. I'm happy to be quiet. There is a East Boston Housing Stability Trust that has been established in connection with the redevelopment Suffolk Downs, and has been as my practice recently. The recommendation is that developers who are adding units do contribute to the Housing Stabilization Trust. In this case, that will be for the 4 additional units that are being proposed.
And with the scale of the renovation, are you supposed to provide an accessible unit?
I do not believe we're required to, based upon the fact this is already pre-existing 3, but I don't know if I have the architect, let me see if the architect's available. We can certainly review that with ISD for purposes of accessibility requirements.
Any other questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak in support of this proposal?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. As you heard from the applicant, they received support from the Jeffries Point Neighborhood Association during the community process. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Michael Benetti from the Office of Boston City Councilor Lydia Edwards. The council would like to go on record in support of this project.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we have the letter from the Jeffries Point in support. We also have 1 opposition letter from a butter.
Thank you. Given that information, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Sorry, hold on. Is anybody here to speak in opposition? I know I officially asked for support. May I hear opposition?
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands for this proposal at the moment.
Sorry about that. Go ahead. So may I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve a BPA design review. And just want to highlight the overhang in the front, if they can just pay close attention to that.
Yeah, I'll take a look. Yep.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the board.
Is Mr. Hampton on today?
Heard his voice.
Yes, Madam Chair, I am.
Oh, excellent. So you heard that, right? I'm sorry I didn't call you in the roll call.
That's okay.
It's okay. Thank you.
Is Stillman Street on?
Yes, I think it's only the building code that's being withdrawn.
Stillman is
Calling
on.
next case?
I'm sorry,
Calling
Stillman
BOA.
is on.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jessica.
Oh, go ahead. Yep, Stillman is on under Greg McCarthy. Are you calling that next?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sorry. Thank you.
Calling BOA 124-6029, 43 Stillman Street. Are you going forward on the project, sir?
Greg McCarthy?
Let's see. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, are you moving forward on the project or are you deferring?
Sorry about that. We are deferring the G-Cod, BOA 1246029, and we are withdrawing BOA 1246356, the code violation appeal.
Okay, so let me call the building code in for the record. There's a companion case to 43 Stillman, BOA 1246356, 43 Stillman Street, for building code. I'm going to call that in for the record, Madam Chair.
May I have a motion then on that for building code?
Motion to deny the building code.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now to the G-Cod.
And we're going to motion for deferral.
Before we do that, may I hear from Christian, please?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Christian Simonelli, Boston Groundwater Trust. We would support a deferral at this time since the applicant is in the process of pulling together what they need to meet the compliance.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
Motion. Second, Joe.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The date, please?
You'll have a date of December 7th at 12:30.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 1224583, 1 Washington Mall. This is a tenant fit up, a virtual indoor golf establishment. Space was formerly the Wax Museum. The violation is Article 45, Section 14. The use is forbidden. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Mr. Secretary and Madam Chair. Welcome back. Dennis Quilty, attorney representing the applicant. With me this morning from 5 Iron Golf is Henry Shioka, who I think is able to get on. Thank you very much for hearing us this morning. The site in question is, for those of you in the building at City Hall, it's just on City Hall Plaza, 1 Washington Mall at the corner, literally on the plaza, which formerly housed this wax museum for, I guess, the last couple of years. The space is presently vacant. The proposal is a virtual golf facility, which will provide a number of stations for persons to come in and rent out space to practice, to play games, compete with other people, etc. Includes a food and beverage service, and we did go through an extensive outreach through the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Given the location, which is really kind of not a residential area, we were asked to reach out to the 2 organizations in the North End, Newnick. In addition, we were asked to reach out to the Wharf District Council, which we did, and we held, Mr. Romano held an abutters meeting in early September. So we're unaware of any opposition to the matter, and obviously are here for any questions you might have.
Okay, so just tell us briefly the hours of operation. And I'm assuming that since you have a bar, you will go to the to get a liquor license.
Yes, ma'am. There will be an application, excuse me, made. We wanted to make sure we had the zoning in place before that were to happen. But there will be an application for an alcohol license and food service at the location. The maximum closing hours on a liquor license are 2 a.m. We will probably ask for that, but it will probably not be utilized fully. We hope that this will be a place where people will be coming after work. We do expect a lot of functions for downtown folks in the business community and nearby residential neighborhoods. So we expect there'll be a lot of that kind of use. And it does have full dining and seating, et cetera, et cetera. There are 13 different golf stations, if you will. 11 on the lower level, it's a 2-level situation, and 2 on the upper level. And there is restaurant, food service on both levels. And smaller on the upper level, larger on the lower level, where most of the, most of the golf stations are.
So your closest residence would be the New England Home for Homeless Vets, and I guess is the Ames Hotel, did Suffolk buy that for dorms?
That's now, yes, ma'am. You're correct on both counts. The Ames is now Suffolk. I believe it's a dorm but it's owned by Suffolk University.
Yeah, so the question is, how do you control for noise at 2 a.m.?
Well, the thought is that that is the maximum hour, Madam Chair. This is not going to be a nightclub or some such thing. It was just the concept of getting whatever the maximum allowable was. Most of the use, as I just suggested and the plans will show, is below ground level. We think it'll be, fully protected against noise emanating into the existing areas. There is, at the rear of the building, which is closest to the veteran shelter, there is a, series of blank wall, if you will, between us and them. And their entrance on that side goes down yet another level. So I think it's substantially distant from, this operation.
No, I'm basically thinking about, the post-closing activity and how you will manage for that, but I suppose you will go through that in greater detail with the licensing board.
Yes, ma'am, we certainly will.
Okay, how are the plans, Mr. Robinson?
Plans are good, no questions on the scope.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition? Please raise your hands.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is John Romano from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. As the applicant had mentioned here, we had hosted an abutters meeting as well as they had reached out to the community groups in the area. At this time, we've received no concerns with the project and we'd like to go on record in support of the project.
Morning, Madam of the Chair, members of the board, Ana Calderon from Councilor Flink's office. The councilor would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Paul Sullivan from City Council at Large, Michael Flaherty. Council to go on record in support.
I just have one quick question. Does this applicant own any other places like this, either inside or outside the city? Just curious.
Outside the city, yes, sir, Mr. Ruggiero. There, Henry, are you on? There are a number of these around the country. Henry, he was on earlier. I don't know whether he's still with us.
But okay, so
But there aren't any in the Boston area. This will be the first, but there are in other cities in the country.
Okay, let's go with testimony, and if Henry comes on, we'll hear from him. But in the meantime, let's go on if there's any other testimony.
Madam Chair, we have one letter of support.
Okay.
I do have a raised hand by caller 726. You've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Minor Perez representing the Carpenters Union. We want to go on record in support of this project.
Okay, thank you. And then I do have a raised hand by Catherine O'Neill. Catherine, are you looking to speak on this project?
She's on for the
Okay. I have no additional.
Motion, please.
Motion to approve.
I'll second, Eric.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 124-2333, 174 Savin Hill Avenue. This is construct a new single-family dwelling. The home is designed to fit within the Savin Hill neighborhood in scale and character. There is a single-car garage set back 18 feet from the sidewalk, as well as space for 2 additional vehicles along an open living space. The violations, Article 10, Section 1, limitation of area accessory uses. Article 65, Section 42, conformity with the existing building alignment. And Article 65, Section 9, the lot area is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Madam Chair, this is Eric Robinson. I'll be recusing myself from this case.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is George Moranci. I'm an attorney with the business address of 350 West Broadway in South Boston. My client and the owner of the property is Catherine O'Neill, who's here today, and Owen Thomas, who is the project architect, is also here today. This is a proposed single family on a vacant lot of land. This is not a subdivision. This is a separate parcel. It is numbered 172 on Savin Hill Avenue. My client, Catherine O'Neill, owns the existing dwelling to the left at 168-170 Savin Hill Avenue. The zoning district is 2F 5000. The proposal is for a new single-family dwelling. The lot size here is 3,208 square feet, which gives rise to the zoning violation for insufficient lot size. There are two other violations cited: limitation of area of accessory use. To explain that, there is a single car garage which meets the off-street parking requirements for the single family. To the left of that in the driveway, my client is proposing to add 2 additional parking spaces to provide additional parking for the building. Because those parking spaces are located within 5 feet of the left side lot line, which is again owned by my client, there is the violation under Article 10, Section 1. Finally, there is a violation cited for conformity with existing building alignment. The building is in fact in accordance with the existing building alignment, but we had not provided a professional land surveyor's analysis to ISD in time to get that removed from the zoning refusal letter. The architect here is, as I said, Owen Thomas, and
Mr. Morency, can you back, Ms. Edwards, can you back up for a minute? Because I think we need to just clarify, is this 174 or 172 Savin Hill? Because your drawings say 172, the notice says 174.
It's 174. The zoning refusal letter says 174 as well. I think that right there, Madam Chair, I believe that the architect is noting the client's name, and maybe building to the left goes by 172. I'm not sure. It's technically 168.
So just to clarify, that tarred lot is
Correct.
the subject lot.
That is correct. It's 174, even though it's showing on Google as 172. ISD assigned it the street address of 174.
Okay, and just to confirm that it is not used as ancillary parking, officially used as ancillary parking for 168 to 170.
Not officially, never been approved as such. Again, it is owned by my client who lives in the building to the left. So there has been parking there, but it is a separate lot.
Okay, so, okay, go ahead with your presentation then.
Certainly. I'd like to turn it over to the architect only because he can explain some of the changes that he made to the building's aesthetics in response to the community process, and he can better explain that and the rationale, I think, than I can. Owen?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So very initially, I think one of the first things that would be helpful to look for, obviously, on A02 does show the lot and the size in relationship to the surrounding context. The primary thing we're asking for is for undersized lot, and I just wanted to show that this is very comparable to the surrounding lots around it, and is the only one in the context that doesn't have a building on it.
So so this is a one family. What is the total square foot and how many bedrooms?
So we're proposing it's a 1,603 square feet, two bedrooms, 2.5 baths. And it's a 2.5-story single family. It's been designed to fit within all the setback requirements. So we're meeting the side yard setback requirements. We're meeting the rear. We're meeting the front. We're meeting the height requirements. Meeting FAR. The only requirement that we are not meeting is the size of the lot, because we can't obviously change that. So
Mr. Morency, so side yard is front yard is modal. Are you asking for side yard and rear? You're not asking for rear yard?
No setback violations, except as I say, in the context of Article 10, Section 1, Madam Chair, those 2 parking spaces that you see on the left of the screen to the left of the building, they are within 5 feet of the left side yard line, lot line. They don't need to be there. They're not there to satisfy any code requirement, and they could easily be removed, and that violation would be eliminated.
Okay, may we see a rendering of this in context of the neighborhood? What drawing is it?
If you go to the bottom, it would be should be one of the last pages. And so there has been extensive back and forth with with the neighborhood, and from the beginning, we were trying to design a building that fits within the context and style. Through the community process, there have been some aesthetic revisions to this, which include some of the comments were that it was a little too contemporary for the surrounding neighborhood. So we've reconfigured the front facade windows to be more symmetrical in a traditional layout, and with traditional trim and casing, and we've also we've added a little gable rooflet over the front entry, and also changed the gable end to shingles with a few more essentially aesthetic, stylistic changes to bring it more in keeping with the surrounding neighborhood.
Okay, hold on. Mr. Ehrlich, how are the plans?
The drawings are fine. I think that the architect's comments about the contemporary nature of the design are the broader question that I would have in what appears to be a traditional, more traditional neighborhood. That's a matter of taste, and I gather there was back and forth with the community about that. My one question is the size of the curb cut. I don't have a problem with the 2 spaces on the left side of the building, but it seems like an unusually wide curb cut and frankly unnecessary, at least from the rendering. On the drawing, it doesn't show what the size is. So either Mr. Moranci or the architect, what is the width of the curb cut?
Well, so I can give you the dimension of the curb cut. The curb cut it's an existing curb cut, so we.
No, I understand that. I understand it's existing. What is the dimension?
Let me pull it up.
Madam Chair, Mr. D'Amico has spoke on this as well. Would you like me to put his words for the record?
Go ahead.
Regarding 174 Savin Hill, both of the side parking spaces should be moved up approximately 10 feet to prevent the potential for front yard parking.
Thank you.
Oh.
And Mr. Ehrlich, it's Jeff at the BRA.
Hold on.
So do we have a dimension?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull up the drawing right now. I did not mention it because it's an existing.
Well, I understand that, but you're redoing the site, so there's a possibility of amending the width of the curb cut as part of that process.
I think one of the things that we had discussed is if it was, we're very open to reducing the size of the curb cut if that was preferred. So I think that we'd be open to sizing it to whatever would be desirable.
Okay.
Just for reference, if you look at, those are 4 foot. The sidewalk sections are 4 foot, so we're looking at.
It's like about 15 feet.
13 or 14 feet.
Yeah, which is oversized. Okay. And Mr. D'Amico's comment is also well taken, which there's no reason that couldn't be pushed back a little bit. But other than that, the drawings are fine.
Mr. Hampton, did you have a comment on it?
Yeah, I didn't want to jump the gun, but it is in a neighborhood design overlay district. Everything over the bridge is. So, we would take a look at it. If this were to pass by the board, we'd take another look at it too for context.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition to this proposal? I would request that the applicant lower her hand, and then I would like everybody else, when you speak, put your name and address on the record, and please give us new information. Use your time wisely and give us new information. Okay? So go ahead, Ms. Ambassador.
Great. I'll start with Agnes Chen. Agnes, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, hi. My name is Agnes Chen. I live at 176 Savin Hill. So, good morning, everybody. I have lived.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. Did you want to get community or did you want to get respective councilors and mayor's office?
Yes, are any elected officials or representatives of elected officials on?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Here.
Yes.
Sorry, Joe.
Joe, go ahead.
Hi, good morning, Madam Chair. Joe McEachran, City Councilor, Frank Baker's office. We'd like to go on record in support of this project.
Any other representatives of elected officials? Now's your time. Let's go for it.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Paul Sullivan for City Council at Large, Michael Flaherty. The council would like to go on record in support. The project has the support of the Columbia Savin Hill Civic Association. And if approved, the council encourages the proponents to work closely with the abutters and neighbors to address quality of life concerns during each phase of the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. George Swin with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This has been an ongoing process in the community for some time. Our office held an abutters meeting for the applicant on August 23rd at 6 p.m. and we received concerns in several abutters regarding density using a lot that has been zoned unbuildable. Nevertheless, with a majority of direct abutters in support and the Columbia Savin Hill Civic Association voting in support, our office will be going on record in support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Angus, any letters, Secretary?
Hello, can I speak now?
Go ahead, Angus.
Mr. Chen, please tell us quickly whether you're in support or in opposition and reasons for your either support or opposition. Okay?
I oppose this project. I have lived at this address, 176 Hill, for many years, directly alongside this proposed development. Our home was purchased.
Sorry, Mr. Chen, what is your address?
1767 Hill.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so our house was purchased with the knowledge that the lot next door could never be legally built. Our privacy, safety, quiet, and sound could never be degraded by building next door. There's no public good for justification for allowing a private developer to override the zoning law that have stood for 100 years. Our property value should not be sacrificed for someone else's profit. We don't want to see a house built on every tiny lot. We don't want to lose our open green spaces. This is already a very congested street with very limited parking. More cars, more traffic, and less open spaces would negatively impact our lives. So please protect the existing zoning laws and deny this groundless appeal. Thank you.
Okay, all right, and I'll start with Sue. Sue, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Susan Sharp. I live at 11 Rockmere Street, 2 streets above the property in question. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. This has obviously been divisive and put our neighborhood in great duress over many years. It's been repeatedly turned down as an unusable lot. That's very clear. As Angus stated, the neighborhood has been impacted by new development, and we are deeply concerned about the precedent this would set for the remaining open spaces in our neighborhood.
So, Ms. Schatz, can you tell us, has this project been before the board before? Or is this a new proposal?
Hello, Madam Chair, this is Tom. I can speak on that.
Yep, go ahead.
This one, it's not the same project. There was a proposal before the board in 2019 to build a 2-family on this lot. It was withdrawn by the applicant.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Ambassador, let's go on to the next person, and please, whoever speaks next, give us new information. Tell us right away if you're in support or in opposition. Okay?
Yep, Patrick, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please? And anyone else who's spoken, can you lower your hand? Patrick?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Patrick Ciano. I'm the homeowner across the street from this property at 159 Savin Hill Ave, and I'm opposed to the development. We've seen this come forward to us. This is the 3rd time in the last 10 years I've been part of the process. And I can't understand that if the lot has been deemed unbuildable, why are we going through this whole process yet again?
Okay.
Maybe it's me that I'm dumb, but I just don't understand. The other thing is I wanted to
Mr. Siano, thank you. Anybody else, please?
Okay, Kim Gill, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Good morning. My name is Kim Galley. I live at 124 Grampian Way since 1997. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. Thanks for the opportunity to speak at this hearing. I am opposed to development at 174 Savin Hill Avenue. Briefly put, this is the busiest and most congested street in Savin Hill. It is the only route into Dorchester. It is already too narrow for 2 large cars to pass. During the construction phase, emergency vehicles could be impeded, and in the residential phase, potentially people will be backing out into the street, creating traffic hazards. There's already too much development there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Doreen, you've been unmuted. Can you state
Hi.
the record?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name's Doreen Miller. I live at 253 Savin Hill Avenue down the street. I'm a lifelong resident of Savin Hill, 65 years. I am opposed to this project, and I think all the reasons have already been stated. And since she keeps trying to develop an undeveloped lot, I would request that the board reject this proposal with prejudice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Donna, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please? And again, can people please lower their hands there's multiple hands still raised. We need to make sure they're lowered so we can get to everyone. Donna, I'm sorry, Doreen.
Hi, good morning. My name is Donna Blythe McColgan. I live at 203 Savin Hill Avenue, and I'm a member of the Civic Association as well as a member of the Planning Board. And I have been in opposition of any construction on this unbuildable lot since it's been presented to the board, particularly in 2019 when there was an attempt to put a 2-family on there. The zoning code clearly states in section 7(3) that this is an unbuildable lot and that it does not meet, this proposal does not meet those demands that are clearly stated there, particularly the issue of hardship. There is no hardship.
Ma'am, thank you. So if I can summarize that you're essentially in opposition from the past process. Can I just ask, please, Sue, Donna, Kim, Patrick, Catherine, can you all, Catherine and Neil, can you all please lower your hands? Because you've already spoken, we need to figure out who has not had a chance to speak yet.
And caller 726, is that you, Michael? You've been unmuted.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Minor Perez would like to go on record. I represent the Carpenters Union. Would like to go on record on support. Mrs. Daniel has been an outstanding member of the community for a long time. Thank you.
Elaine, did we get to you? Elaine Chow? Are you looking to give testimony on this project? No?
Yes, sorry, I just muted myself. My name's Elaine Chow. I live at 207 Savin Hill Avenue. I've been here since 2014. My understanding is that this lot was originally not even supposed to be paved over, and that was done in violation of code. So there just has been a lot of pushing of the boundaries on this, and I would strongly oppose.
Thanks. And Kenneth, did we get to you, Kenneth?
Hello.
Hi, Kenneth.
Yeah.
You look
Hi, my name is Kenneth Osro, and I live at 17 Castle Rock Street. I'm a direct abutter to the proposed building, and I just wanted to speak in favor of the proposal. My house actually looks down on the lot, and I think that it would be better use to have a night. So I'm in support.
Thank you. Madam Chair, it looks like we got to everyone.
Just a quick question, Madam Chair.
Hold on, Mr. Moranci?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We do have...
Okay, hold on. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Ruggiero.
I think I just missed it. What's the lot size?
It's 3,208 square feet, and the building size is 1,603, and it's a proposed 2-bedroom.
And it's a 5,000 square foot, which is a 2 at 5,000?
It's still at 5,000, yes.
All right.
And Ms. Ambassador, if we can just note the comments that were made by Tyler Pascal at 5 Caspian Way, who is in support of the development. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Moranci, rebuttal, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to point out, since the testimony that we heard was mostly against, but the elected officials in recommending approval of this did note the support of the majority of abutters. So I just want to point out that of the 13 nearest abutters, 8 support the project, our nearest neighbors, and then of direct abutters, 3 of 5 support the project, and that's not including Ms. O'Neill's own property at 168 Savin Hill Ave. It includes 164, 160, 17 Castle Rock, and 10 Caspian Way. And a final point, I just want to point out that of all the 13 developed lots on this block, there are only 2, in fact, that are 5,000 plus square feet. So this is not an anomaly in terms of buildings on undersized lots in this zoning subdistrict.
And so I just need clarification because the theme was pretty consistent. This wasn't a D&D site or any site that restricted its use. It is a freestanding lot that's been plotted years ago.
Correct. Separate assessing parcel, separate deed parcel, no subdivision involved, certainly during the ownership period of my client. I don't see any subdivision going back for as far as I checked, but I can't speak historically as to that.
And there's no restrictions from, as you know, that you know of for the development of the lot.
No deed restrictions, Madam Chair.
Okay. Okay.
Madam Chair, Secretary here. Unfortunately, I was able to get on and tell you that we do have letters of support and we also have letters of opposition. And I think the opposition is basically what they have talked about.
Excellent. Okay. So given that information, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve with 2 provisos. One BPDA design review and the second proviso, just to reiterate, there's no front yard parking.
So it's no front yard parking. Mr. Ehrlich talked about the size of the hut.
Yes, and the size of it.
And I guess the third thing was Mr. Ehrlich also talked about contextual design.
Yep.
Okay, does that cover everything?
Yep.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that, Secretary.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 116-0563, 41 to 43 Alabama Street. This is to construct a new single-family home. The violations, Article 10, Section 1, limitation of parking area. Article 60, Section 9, insufficient lot size. Article 60, Section 9, insufficient lot width. Article 60, Section 9, insufficient lot frontage. And Article 60, Section 9, insufficient side yard setback. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chair, members of the board. Joseph Feaster from the law firm of McKenzie & Associates, 183 State Street, Boston, 02109. Joining me on this presentation are attorney Timothy Frazier, the architect Chris Drew, and the owner Lucian McPherson. Before I begin the presentation, I just want to say it's always a pleasure to appear before this board, and certainly I like to appear after Mr. Moranci because I hopefully have an easier case for the board to consider.
So Mr. Feaster, let's start off because is my memory serving me right that 4143 was before this board in the past?
You are correct at that time, Madam Chair. This matter has been before the board, I believe it's 2019, but this began in 2018, and at that time, a client had proposed a 2-family. This matter was withdrawn at that time because there was not support for a 2-family, and the discussions within the neighborhood and with the community groups has resulted in my client proposing presently a single family, and that's what's before the board now.
Okay, and
The person, I'm sorry,
what's the zoning district that it's in?
this is in.
1F6000.
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
And the lot area on this is what?
All right, I'm going to let Mr. Chris Drew respond to those questions for you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So, Mr. Drew, put your name and address on the record.
Chris Drew, RCA, 1156 Dorchester Ave, Dorchester. The lot size itself is 5,439 square feet.
Okay. And the building size is?
The allowed FAR is 0.06, and we are at an FAR of 0.46 with a square footage of about 2518 gross square feet.
Okay, so the insufficient lot width, there's nothing you can do about. Insufficient lot frontage likewise. Can you talk about the insufficient side yard setback? Where is that?
Yes, so that is, as you're looking at the plan, that is on the left side of the building, if you're standing on Alabama Street, and the reason for that was so that we could get the driveway on the right-hand side of the street, which was also closest to the neighboring parcel's curb cut, so that we could kind of utilize that area as opposed to creating another curb cut further down and impacting potential on-street parking.
Okay. Ms. Edwards, can you show us if there is anything that puts the project in context of the neighborhood? Did you, Mr. Drew, what sheet should we be looking at?
Right there, so it's this lot, right? It's the lot in red, right there.
Okay. And is this cemetery that you're backing up on?
Correct.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I might add there are multifamily houses that exist in this neighborhood as well. I believe that this house fits in the character of the neighbors directly adjacent, and Mr. Drew or Mr. McPherson can correct me if I'm wrong, but this, what's being proposed is 2.5 stories, consistent with what's in the neighborhood.
Thank you. And was there a rendering that showed it in context, Mr. Drew?
No, there wasn't. Just the basic elevations of the building.
Okay. How are the plans, Mr. Robinson?
The plans are good. No real question. I do think the undersized lot is sort of related to the width of it. No questions on the scope. There is a family room shown in the lower level, but there's no bedroom associated with it.
Okay.
I have no issue.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition? May I hear from elected officials first, or representatives of elected officials?
Hi, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Peoples here from the Office of Neighborhood Services, Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record in support of this proposal. There was an abutters meeting held on August 17, 2021, where no major concerns were raised by abutters and neighbors. The neighborhood also felt like the proposal was in line with other buildings in the area, as they have scaled down from 2 family to a 1 family. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Paul Sullivan for City Council at large, Michael Flaherty, council's going record in support.
Madam Chair, I do have a few raised hands. Let's start with LeVar. LeVar, you've been unmuted. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Hello, my name is LeVar Thomas. I'm at the address abutted directly to this project, 37 Alabama Street. As previously stated, this was brought up a couple years ago as a 2-family, and basically the only design change was that it went from 2-family to a single family. You're aware of all the violations, but personally, in my case, this lot was part of 3 lots when I bought this house, but the seller chose only to sell 2 lots. Now, there are no direct lot lines. It hasn't been surveyed, so my issue is the exact location of the lot line when it comes to the driveway that is going to be placed on the right side of this property which is directly up to my driveway, which is right next to it. And if that will be affecting the size of my driveway in any way, because the land has not been surveyed to say where the lot line now lay.
Yes, and I'm sure Mr. Feaster will make sure, and the applicant, Mr. McPherson, will make sure that everything is up to par. Anybody else to speak?
Okay, Velma, it looks like you have a question. Are you looking to give testimony, or, because this is the part where we're opening up for questions?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, yep. Are you looking to give testimony? I'm sorry,
Yes, I'm looking to give testimony and to also let you know that I oppose. Reason is, I'm directly across from where they are proposing to build this, on this lot. I too also been here since 1997. I have a lot, and as mentioned before, and the board is aware that you open the floodgate to additional people who own lots on the street to start building, and this is a beautiful greenery area, as also a school zone. So I would like the board to take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, can I have the name of the, and address of the person who just spoke? I don't think that was put on the record. At least I didn't hear it.
Velma Brinson, 34 Alabama Street.
Thank you.
Anybody else, Ms. Ambassador?
Minor, are you looking to give testimony on this proposal? Your hand is raised. Never mind, we're all set. Oh, Lucian, I'm sorry.
No, he's the applicant. I don't think we need to. We generally don't hear from the applicant since he is presented by an attorney.
Thank you.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do you need design review, Mr. Robinson?
I don't think so.
ISD will kick it to us anyways, so you might as well put it on there.
There we go. Thank you. Let's send it to the BPDA and to the I think to the adjacent water with respect to the driveway. There is a survey in the set. I think the sort of dimensions should be fine, and I don't think there'll be an encroachment on his property or driveway. So.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the board.
And
On the
please,
last case for 9:30, calling BOA 120-1309, 1480 Blue Hill Avenue. This is built a two-level addition with block wall and flat roof, first floor seating area, bathroom, office, second floor, and office and storage. The violation is Article 60, Section 37, street wall continuity. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Mark Lacasse Law, 75 Arlington Street in Boston. I am the attorney for the applicant, which is the Fernandez Car Wash, located at this address. This is a proposal for a very modest scale addition to the existing car wash. Here you see the shape of the addition at the end of the car wash building, two-story addition, little over 1,000 square feet. The ground floor addition is a waiting room area for customers of the car wash and the adjacent service garage that they have. And the upper floor is storage area and office space for the existing business. Scroll ahead, please.
okay, let me just ask you, was this addressed before this board in the past?
No, it has not.
Yeah?
Not that I'm aware of. The car wash is an allowed use in the community commercial subdistrict. Here are elevations of the existing car wash on the top, and the lower elevation shows the two-story addition, which is well within all of the dimensional requirements in the CC subdistrict. The height limit is 55. We are just 2 stories. The FAR is 4, and this is a 5,900 square foot lot, so there's ample FAR. The sole violation presented relates to the front yard setback. In the CC subdistrict, the notation indicates that street wall continuity is the required front yard, and then if you go to the street wall continuity provision in the code, it essentially requires BPDA design review in a commercial district for street wall continuity and alignment of the structure. So this would be required to comply with the design review provisions for street wall continuity.
So I'm looking at it on Google Maps. So is this proposal supposed to bridge the two buildings? Is that what it is?
Doesn't quite bridge the buildings, Madam Chair, but it is located at the tail end of the car wash building, sort of in the back of the lot where the adjoining service bays are. And for your reference, behind that are the railroad tracks below. So it doesn't really abut anything, and it's at the tail end of the car wash, at the rear of the lot, and not visible from any abutting properties or anything like that.
Okay, how are the plans, Mr. Robinson?
Plans are good, no questions on the proposed scope.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, just to the applicant, what do customers use as a seating area now, and what does the owners use as an office?
The owner has a small office in the existing building, and there is no customer waiting area, which is why this is being created, just to accommodate customers who are waiting for the cars that are in the adjoining service bay portion of the property, which is on a separate parcel, but owned by the same Fernandez brothers.
And the current office is on the right side of the elevation that's shown on the screen?
I believe so. Mr. Fernandez is on, if he could just answer that. But yes, I believe they have a small office in the existing car wash building and just need a little more space.
Okay, thank you.
And what's his occupancy? How many vehicles can go through at a time?
Of the car wash?
Yeah, for this proposal for the car wash?
Oh, the car wash is existing, Madam Chair.
I know, but what I'm trying to get at is what's the queuing?
Victor, can you chime in there?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What's the queuing? Suppose you have a line of people wanting your services. Where do they queue? Is that on the sidewalk?
So you mean after they go into the tunnel?
They wait to go in. Do you have a spot? I guess they just come in straight off of Blue Hill Ave.
Yeah, so they come straight from Blue Hill Ave, they go into the tunnel, and it's on the way out that we need the waiting area, when they're getting the car interior cleaned.
And then you have these two kind of awning kinds of things. Are those going away?
The awning where?
I'm looking at Google Maps. There's a photo of the school zone, and then for Fernandez Express, and right below the sign, there seems to be some kind of shelter for the cars. Is that going away?
Yeah, that's no longer there.
Okay.
It is what I'm thinking, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. The plans are adequate, Mr. Robinson, did you say? And any questions from the board?
Yeah, no questions on the plans, thanks.
Any other questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition?
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Dr. Peoples here from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record in support of the proposal. There was an abutters meeting held on July 20th, 2021, where the applicant was shown no opposition, as well as a subsequent meeting with the Woodhaven Colwood Regis Neighborhood Association on October 4th, where again no opposition was shown, and support was shown for the fact that the neighbors and abutters believe that it would be helpful for the customers to have accommodation while they're waiting to be serviced. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jordan Frias here from Councilor Ricardo Arroyo's office. We'd like to go on the record in support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Secretary here. We do have one letter of opposition. Well, it's not opposition. It's the Greater Mattapan neighborhood who sent a letter in saying that they haven't met with the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, we have no raised hands at the moment.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve BPDA design review and encourage the applicant to meet with the neighborhood group.
I'll second that, Eric.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Jeff, if you can make sure there's significant design review and also include some screening, because it looks like there's the possibility of cars overhanging the sidewalk.
Will do.
If there could be some barrier there, okay?
Yep.
Thank you. So good luck. Let's just see, we have 3 minutes before 11 o'clock, so can I have Mr. Sheehan make sure that everything works so we can hear his request for reconsideration? Go ahead, Mr. Fortune.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Calling the reconsideration, calling BOA 117-9009, 70 Russell Street. Madam Chair, this was extend living space in the basement for Unit 1. We've an exterior window replacement, enlargement, a level 2. Work area will be under 50% of the total building. The violation was Article 62, Section 8. The floor to area ratio was excessive. Name and address for the record, please.
Madam Chair, this is Patrick Sweeney. I'm an attorney with Morrissey Sweeney, 261 Main Street, Charlestown. At this point, we would request deferral on the reconsideration, Madam Chair. I just got into the case Friday. I actually visited the property, and the owner, Terry Campbell, had surgery last week. Mr. Sheehan is unavailable this morning, and I expect to meet with him within the next week or two to go over the matter.
Okay,
Motion to defer.
is there a second?
Second, Sherry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The date, please?
I'm against the deferral. This is, Eric, no, I'm against it.
So please, so Eric is against the deferral. Who else?
Joe.
Joe? I too am against the deferral, so the motion does not carry. So please, Mr. Sweeney, go ahead and present your case.
Madam Chair, members of the board, if we're given opportunity, we would present additional evidence in a formal form indicating that this is not actually basement space. As we go to the back of the property, and the plans right now show what's labeled as, oh, we just skipped by it. Thank you. That screen right there. You can see that the exterior entrance in the rear is actually 2 steps up. So the rear of this is above ground level. At the front, from what I could tell Friday looking at the property, Madam Chair, members of the board, it's approximately 6 inches below grade. The ceiling height there is 8 feet, well, 7 feet 10 inches, excuse me. And from a point at the bathroom, it is completely above grade. So what I was hoping to do and what I was going to ask Timothy Sheehan to do is get actual elevations so that we could show the board that this certainly, just from a brief review by myself, it doesn't meet the definition of basement space under the code, the 35% figure. But I would much prefer to be able to give the board firm evidence in terms of calculations to show that this is not a basement, quote unquote, dwelling or extension. The windows.
Mr. Sweeney, I have to tell you that when a project goes to the subcommittee, it has a high level of scrutiny by our architects. And we had a robust discussion at that point where the applicant and the applicant's representative had an opportunity to make the argument. And that's what the decision was based on. So I will ask Mr. Robinson.
Madam Chair, may I make a comment?
Hold on. Mr. Robinson, can you chime in, please?
Yeah, I don't think there's a question of if this is a basement or not. It was a question of the height of the sill of the egress window as required by code from the building. You do not meet that, so you're introducing a step to try to augment the differential between the basement floor level to meet the letter of the law in the code. And it's just not, in my opinion, it's just not acceptable. It's making a condition that we don't typically weigh in favor on. You're trying to stretch the condition. If you came back with a plan that showed the bedroom at the rear and there's no issue with sill to grade, that's a different story, but that's not what we're looking at here.
Okay,
If I may comment, Madam Chair, for the record.
Yeah.
My client, and I wasn't there, but my client indicated she was unable to get on to make comment. But in any event, Mr. Robinson's correct. There is a step up. What I looked at is there are other windows and configurations that would do away for that. For example, there's a window that's now located in the bathroom.
Can I just?
Hold on. Go ahead.
Mr. Robinson, would you be okay if we entered denial without prejudice instead of denial, and maybe they can work something out?
If we deny a project, they can come back with something different. That within the period of time. Denial without prejudice anticipates that they come back with something that's the same. So I'm perfectly comfortable with a denial because we do not want to see this.
Madam Chair, if I could, the case is not on the merits of the project. The question is reconsideration, and that's either approval or denial. And I am reluctant, once again, to have someone who didn't get the verdict that they want just come back under reconsideration. I think it's a very dangerous precedent. We're seeing.
May I have a motion?
Motion to deny the request for reconsideration.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. It is now 11:06. The meeting is adjourned until 12:30. Thank you.
Madam Chair, can I have a point of clarification? We can come back immediately with this?
Council, can you hear me? This is Tom Broom, attorney.